The Great One Moose is one of the most sought after Great Ones here in the Hunter Call of the Wild, but one of the most difficult grinds to do. Over in Medved, the Moose grind has over 130 drink zones, which is just on another level of insane. Really, the only other maps, which would be Reventuli and Layton, both definitely have over 100 plus drink zones for Moose. But there's kind of an underground method that really nobody's talking about here in the beautiful map of Ski Ridge, Alberta. And in this video, just like all my other Great One guides, we're going to be doing an extremely simple, extremely detailed Great One Moose guide with this method here in a Ski Ridge that really nobody's talking about, that pretty much anybody can do to put a Great One Moose in their lodge. So without further ado, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Squid. I've been playing the Hunter Call of the Wild for about 8 years and grinding for about 5. I'm known for extreme simplicity and extreme detail in my guides here on YouTube, and this video is going to be nothing short of that. So wasting no more of you guys' time, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So right off the bat here, before we do dive in, I'm just going to let you guys know real quick that herd management or any of those overcomplicated methods that do nothing but confuse beginner grinders right off the bat are not going to play any part in this video until later on here today. I'm going to teach you guys how to do it with herd management and how to do it without herd management. You absolutely do not need to use herd management to do this grind, although it will get you more diamonds and bigger rares, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. Also, before we do get started, I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit of information. Moose drink from 12 until 16 here in a Ski Ridge. They're a Class 8 species. They go diamond at level 5 and their diamond score is 274.99. Their max estimate is 545 to 620, and on screen right now is a hotspot map that's going to show you absolutely every single location that you can find their drink zones here in a Ski Ridge. And as you would notice, it's quite obviously a lot less to check than other maps that the Moose grind was done on previously, making a Ski Ridge, and the method I'm about to teach you guys right now, probably the easiest way to spawn a Moose Great One and the only way that you should do it. Okay guys, so the very first step to the Moose Great One guide here in a Ski Ridge is going to be to go ahead and find at least, and I say at least in bold letters, the vast majority of your Moose drink zones. Now the reason that I say the vast majority, it's very important, we're going to talk about this here in just a second, but to find all of your drink zones, what I would suggest that you do is set the time to about 1400, 1430, and run every highlighted area on the hotspot map a couple times. I know that seems like a lot, but it's part of the job. Trust me, you can shoot males while you're doing this, and every time you shoot and claim a male, that's a chance it can come back as a great one. And also, you might find a diamond on your map because Moose diamonds tend to spawn initially without grinding them quite consistently. They just kind of troll a lot. So whether or not the 5 that is probably on your map right now makes diamond, that's just pure luck. But the reason that you want to find all of your drink zones, or at least the vast majority of them, is so that way you get this thing called consistent respawns. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, Squid, what are consistent respawns? Well, let me show you, and teach it to you in the simplest way that you've ever heard in your entire life, because Squid's just like that. Yoink, yoink, that was high. So consistent respawns, what we're going to do is we're going to use those 2 bull moose that I just shot from that zone as an example. We have a floater here, isn't that just amazing? Those 2 bull moose I just shot from this individual drink zone right here. Those 2 bull moose, after I reset the time, will respawn as 2 more bull moose into this exact same drink zone that I shot them from. They will not respawn anywhere else on the highlighted areas on the hotspot map besides right here at this drink zone. And the reason for that is because I have all of my drink zones discovered. If I were to not have all of my drink zones discovered, or not enough of them discovered, these 2 bull moose, yeah, they might respawn into that same drink zone once or twice, but chances are they're going to respawn somewhere completely random on the map, on those highlighted areas on the hotspot map, which obviously is not consistent. Therefore, that's why we call moose respawning into the same drink zone that you shot them from consistent respawns. And to get consistent respawns, you need all your drink zones. Or, I've found that you need at least 75% of them. It's okay if you don't have some, but if you only have like half of your drink zones, you're not going to get consistent respawns. And obviously when you're grinding off of respawns for thousands and thousands of kills sometimes. So obviously consistent respawns are going to be very important. And now you're probably wondering to yourself, Squid, how do I know if I have all my drink zones discovered? Well, what you can do is you can do a little respawn test like I just did here. Pick a zone with bulls and cows in it, shoot a couple bulls, leave the game, come back in, make sure you reset the time, and if there's new bulls there, and you're getting respawns, then you're good, although I would still suggest that you find all of them, because there could be a trophy on your map, you know? If there's a diamond on your map, or if there's a rare on your map, you obviously want to put it in your trophy lodge right off the bat, right? Trust me, I've found all 130 of my drink zones over in Medved. This hotspot map for a ski ridge does not look bad at all. The river is probably the worst parts, and they're nice and wide open. Look at least the vast majority of these rivers are super wide open. A ski ridge is an amazing map for this grind. If at any point during your grind, you're not getting consistent respawns, meaning you shoot bulls out of a zone and no bulls come back, well, then you don't have all your drink zones discovered, and you're definitely going to need to go and discover more. People ask me all the time, Squid, how come I don't have any respawns? You don't have all your drink zones. Alrighty folks, so now it's starting to get more interesting. The second step to the moose grind, after you know for sure that you're getting consistent respawns, is going to be to go ahead and pick 8 drink zones. You want these drink zones to have a lot of animals in them in general, nice and wide open, easy to shoot. I'm not even going to use a moose zone as an example, I'm just going to use this drink zone here as an example for the video, but obviously we're doing a moose guide, so you're going to want to make sure that you have 8 moose drink zones. Ones that you like. There's a lot of different lakes that they drink at that would make great locations. Some lakes actually have outposts at them to where you wouldn't need a tent, so I'd strongly suggest setting up there just because there's a freebie outpost. That's an extra zone. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, just completely ignore me. I'm going to teach you guys how to set up right now. Once you guys have found your 8 drink zones, what you're going to do once you find a drink zone that you want to set up and do your grind on is go ahead and simply drop a waypoint on it. Now, you're going to want to make sure you have tents and tripods in your inventory. Run about 250 meters in the opposite direction of your drink zone. It can be 265, it can be 270, shoot, it can be 400. 250 is just the sweet spot because at about 230 meters, when you spawn into your tent, any animal within 230 meters will probably spook. But look here, this is the perfect spot to place the tent, right in this little divot. I'm about 270 meters away. As long as you're over 250, you're good. Unfortunately, I can't place any more tents because I have a mule deer grind set up. Now I could go pull a tent for it just for the example, but I think you guys get the point. I would place my tent right here. Again, you just want to place your tent over 250 meters from the drink zone. See, here's the zone I'm setting up on, 268 now because the waypoint moved a little bit. I would place the tent right here. Once you have your tent here, this will give you the ability to fast travel in, and that is how you set up your fast travel tent. Now, what we need to do next is set up our tripod. So for tripod placement, you want your tripod to be a minimum of 164 meters from the zone, because at about 160 meters, the animals will start to hear you moving. And obviously you want to be able to run from the tent that you just placed down into your tripod without the moose spooking or having any idea that you're there. So, if I go ahead and drop a waypoint on the zone again, I'm about 200 right now. I'm fine with 200 meter shots, more than comfortable, but I'd like to get on top of this little hill here. That is, if I can get close enough. Okay, we're kind of pushing it. 167 meters right here. No, it's not letting me place it here, apparently, is where I would place it. Okay, I don't know if we got some kind of glitch going on or what, but it doesn't let me place it inside of this grass here. So this is actually the perfect example of a zone that you shouldn't set up on. First and foremost, this was just a terrible example in the first place, because it's so thick right here. But again, you just want to make sure your tripod is over 150 meters from the zone. Now, this would work at 111 meters, but once I get to the 160 meter mark, I'm gonna have to slow down to a walk, and if I hear a warning call or anything as I'm walking into my tripod, I might even need to crouch or go prone, which obviously is gonna waste a lot of time. Even if it's just 5 minutes worth of walking from your tent into your tripod, 5 minutes over 10 rotations can add up to 50 minutes of precious shooting time wasted. So yeah, this is definitely the perfect example of a zone you do not want to set up on. But it's a good example in the sense of showing you guys where to place things. Little recap here, the tent needs to be a minimum of 250 from the zone, the tripod needs to be a minimum of 164 meters from the zone. Closer or further will work, for the tripod at least. If you place your tent any closer than 230, the animals will take off before you even leave your tent, so don't want to do that. The tripod will work if it's closer, you're just going to have to sneak into it. And if your wind's bad, you might just be screwed. So in the sense of getting set up, that's pretty much it, my friends. There's really only one more thing that you could do, and that's place a tent, of which we call a claim tent, on top of the zone that you're shooting. So you'd place it right there, as the animals would theoretically be standing right there, but obviously this is a whitetail zone, this is just for example purposes. And having a tent over there would eliminate having to run 124 meters to go claim your kills. which may only seem like a couple minutes worth of running, but like I said a second ago, a couple minutes over 10 rotations can add up to 20, 30, 40, 50, an hour's worth of time wasted. It adds up quick, my friends. Claim tents are not essential. If you're going to use herd management, I would not suggest that you use claim tents right off the bat, because if you're setting up on 8 drink zones, we gotta do some big squid brain math here. If you're setting up on 8 drink zones, having 2 tents, that fast travel tent I showed you guys how to place, and a claim tent, will add up to 16 tents. And 16 tents is the map limit, meaning you can't place any more than 16 tents at any given time on any map. If you're going to use herd management, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, you're going to need every tent you can get, so do not use claim tents. But if you're not going to use HM, and you really don't have to spawn a great one whatsoever, then you can go ahead and set up claim tents. It will help you with efficiency in the long run. Go ahead and repeat this setup process on 8 different drink zones that are nice and wide open, lots of animals in them. Doesn't really matter what level the bulls are, unless you're going to use herd management, which again we're going to talk about here in just a second. We're getting really close. Oh, that's the thing. Forgot to say this. Don't set up on solo zones. I'm so sorry, I completely forgot about solos. This is a solo zone. A solo zone is a zone with one singular male or only males in it. So if there were 10 males here and no females, it's a solo zone. There's one level 3 male, so therefore it's a solo zone. When I shoot this solo zone, which I'm going to go ahead and do, after I reset the time and spawn back into the map, how did I miss that? How did I even miss that? I'm so confused. Let's just pretend like I hit him. A lot of pretending going on here in today's video. I got 5 other ones to record, so work with me. When I shoot that solo male, that zone that I shot him from will then vanish and come back somewhere completely random on the map, even if you have all your drink zones discovered. That's because it's a solo zone. That's how solo zones work. You want to make sure you're setting up on herd zones. If you're confused about solos, and you're not going to use anything like herd management, you don't really need to understand them. All you need to understand is only set up on zones that have males and females in it. Even if there's only 2 males and 1 female, that's a herd zone. If there's 5 females and 5 males, that's a big herd zone. You want to set up on that, as long as it's wide open and easy to set up on, of course. Unlike this zone I made an honest attempt to use as an example. So yeah, solo zones are a pain, but if you're not going to herd manage, you don't really got to worry about them. Unless you find a diamond that's a solo or something, then you can shoot and claim that diamond, and put it in your trophy lodge, obviously. And then that diamond will just respawn as some completely random level male. I mean, it literally could respawn as a great one solo, but I mean, the chances of that are extremely unlikely. I have had a 2-kill great one wolf grind though, my friends. It does happen. And I'm over 20,000 kills into a bear grind right now. Yeah, let's just not talk about that. Okay guys, so it's at this point in the guide where you now need to decide whether or not you're going to use herd management. Now, I'm not going to go nerd mode on talking about why I feel like herd management doesn't increase the spawn rate of a great one whatsoever, but let me just tell you guys this. My fallow grind is so herd managed, I can get 3 or 4 diamonds per rotation. Every single rotation. My rares are huge, yet my first great one grind took 8,300 kills and I've never had a diamond scoring rare. Let's use a grind like my wolf grind for example, my shortest great one grind of all time. I didn't even have all of my drink zones discovered, let alone use a method like herd management. I have a super rare, 4 great ones, and one of those great ones I spawned in 2 kills. 2 kills. That's more than enough evidence right there. In fact, the developers of this game told us years and years ago that great ones spawn off of a system called RNG. RNG stands for random number generation, therefore the amount of kills that your great one is going to take to spawn is completely random. That number is completely randomly generated by your system, and there's no way to change that number. There's no way to make it easier to win the lottery. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Lottery tickets, or the casino, or whatever the heck I'm a 16-year-old content creator, work with me, they're all RNG. Pure luck. Could be 1 kill, could be 10,000 kills, could be 20,000 kills like my freaking bear grind right now. Now, although herd management does not increase the spawn rate of a great one, by filling your entire map with tiny animals and only having 8 zones with large males in them, and shooting those large males consistently, by doing that you're going to spawn more diamonds and your rares are going to spawn as higher levels naturally. That's because your whole map is filled with tiny animals, and the big animals that would be on your map anyways just spread out super diversely, have nowhere to go but your 8 main zones. That's essentially herd management in a nutshell. We're going to talk about how to do it for moose here in just a second. So yeah, herd management technically does increase your chance of a super rare, but the crazy thing is I've shot 25,000 fallow deer, no super rare. I've shot about 4,500 gray wolves, and I really don't even hunt them that much. It's not a fan of the grind, I guess. I don't know, I don't like shooting them, they're hard to shoot. And I have a super rare, acromelanistic for that matter, Grey Wolf, which is arguably one of the most hard super rares to get in the entire game. The fur type acromelanistic for the Grey Wolves has a numerically higher chance of spawning than a great one, according to people in my Discord. So yeah, it's your choice whether or not you want to use herd management. If you're not going to use HM, which really, nothing down to you if you don't want to use it, I'll just tell you this, there's so many videos out there that make it seem like a chore, and it's just part of the game. Herd managing is a very, very satisfying thing to do. It's just a matter of how you think about it, my friends. If you're not going to use HM, you're good to go. Those 8 zones you set up on, those 8 herd zones, go start rotating through them, start shooting the males. Once you make it to your last zone, reset the time and do it over again, over and over and over until eventually you spawn a great one. You're going to spawn diamonds, you're definitely going to spawn rares. If you're not going to use HM, I would suggest that you don't shoot anything elsewhere besides those 8 zones you're set up on. In the sense of moose at least, you can still hunt other species obviously. But if you shoot a moose somewhere else on your map, it could respawn as a great one in a zone you're not set up on, and God knows how long it'll be there for before you notice it. If you are going to use herd management, we're going to talk about exactly how to herd manage your great one moose grind here in Askew Ridge. Right now, my Frenchmans. No idea why I started talking like I'm from the 12th century or something. I don't know, felt fun. I haven't even made it through my coffee yet, work with me. Okay guys, so herd managing your moose is actually a very, very simple thing to do. Moose can only go up to level 5. They go up to level 10 every once in an absolute blue moon, but typically they only go up to level 5, right? That's how they make diamond. So to herd manage your moose, first and foremost, you need to understand that in those 8 zones that you set up on, you shoot every male that you see. No matter the level, no matter the size, even if it's a tiny little male, you shoot it. Now people are going to get confused and they're going to accidentally leave tiny males in their 8 main zones, which we set up earlier, remember? Do not do that. You want to shoot every male you see in those main zones consistently as much as possible. While you're herd managing, I'd still suggest like every 30 minutes of running around, go do a rotation or two just to flush males in and out of those 8 zones as much as possible. Otherwise, you're not really making progress in your main zones. You're just shooting males elsewhere and kind of feels like you're stuck. So, at every other location where moose can drink at, where you have drink zones at, that you should have discovered at the beginning of the guide, that you're not set up on, every other location besides those 8 zones that you're set up on, which in theory are called exterior zones. It's just kind of a code name we give for every other zone on your map. So those 8 main zones are your main zones, and every other zone on your map is an exterior zone. At your exterior zones, you're going to want to shoot the level 3 bulls, the level 4 bulls, and obviously the level 5 bulls. If you see a bull that's a level 2, leave it. That is a shot down or herd managed bull, however you want to say it. You don't got to worry about it. Those are the bulls you want to leave in the zones you're not set up on. If you see a level 2 in your main zone, it doesn't matter, you shoot it. And again, those main zones are those 8 zones you set up at the beginning of the guide. Those are your main zones in your grind. Any male dies, you want to flush males in and out of there consistently. There is one exception to this, but it's just to help you. It literally plays no part in herd management unless you're going to use it, and it will help you with herd management. We're going to talk about that method later on. If you were to find an exterior zone that had only level 2 bulls and a couple females, that would then be a herd managed or a shot down zone, however you want to say it. So this could look like a zone with 2 level 2s and 3 females. That's a herd managed zone. That zone is then done. You can cross it off your map. You don't got to worry about it ever again. If you were to find a zone with a level 2 bull, couple females, and then standing next to that level 2 bull is a level 4 or a level 3 bull, that zone is not herd managed. You need to shoot that level 4 or that level 3 until eventually it respawns as a level 2. And you're probably wondering to yourself, Squid, this is insane. I'm supposed to shoot every single moose until it respawns as a level 2? Pretty much, yeah. But there's a way to increase the chances of those bulls coming back as level 2s. And that's what I just talked about here a second ago. It's that one exception of not shooting bulls in your main zones. And there's only one type of bull you wouldn't want to shoot in those 8 main zones you're set up on. That is if it spawns, and it will spawn as long as you shoot enough, and that is a level 5 guaranteed diamond. Now, if you spawn a level 5 guaranteed diamond in one of those 8 zones that you're set up on, go ahead and leave it, and what that's going to do, after you leave 3 or 4 of them, which it might take you some time to spawn, but again, that's another reason why you should just be rotating through those 8 zones, even right off the bat before you even consider going to herd manage. Do a few rotations, see if you can spawn a couple diamonds. leave those diamonds, and once the game senses that there's all those max level animals on your map, in order to keep the max levels rare, the game is automatically going to balance itself out and force spawn more small minimum weight animals. It just so happens that minimum weight moose are those level 2s and level 1 bulls. So therefore, having diamonds in those 8 zones that you're set up on in those 8 zones only, never leave a diamond in an exterior zone, only in those 8 main zones. Leaving a diamond in an exterior zone will do the opposite effect and force spawn more small males into your main zones, which is the direct opposite of herd management. Having those diamonds in those 8 main zones will make it so that way, for example, maybe I found a zone that had a level 3 bull and a couple level 2s with a couple females. Shooting that level 3 bull and praying that it comes back as a level 2 is a lot easier of a thing to do because the chances of that level 3 respawning as a level 2 or a level 1, but most of the time it's level 2 bulls. Level 1s are a little bit more uncommon. The chance of it coming back as a level 2 male is much higher because the game senses there's all those max level animals on the map, therefore it's balancing itself out by spawning more small animals. That's how the big animals stay rare. Repeat this process on every single drink zone that you find until you're satisfied with your herd management. Mind you, you don't need to go iBuy Premium's level, you don't need to shout out the dudes ago, I'm pretty sure he literally invented herd management. You don't need to shoot down your entire map and spawn a diamond every 5 seconds, in my opinion that kinda ruins it. I hate shooting diamonds every 5 seconds, it burns me out of the grind in a couple hours. It makes me want to just go pick a random map and run in a random direction. Just because I'm so sick of finding trophies, it really gets that bad, trust me, my wolf grind and my fallow deer grind are both like that. My mule deer grind kinda got there, but I undid my herd management a little bit. You really don't need to worry about how to do that. What I'm saying is you don't need to shoot down your entire map by any means. You can just repeat this process on zones that you're not set up on until you're satisfied with your diamond rate. The more zones that you herd manage, which this is the perfect example of a herd managed zone right here, a level 2 and a female. This zone is done, I don't have to worry about it. If that were to be a level 3, or if there were a level 3 or level 4 or level 5 standing there, well then I'd need to shoot that bigger bull until it comes back as a level 2 just like that guy. Oh, what do we got standing here? Level 3, that's gotta die. And you just repeat this process again until you're satisfied with your diamond rate. Beautiful heart shot there, by the way. The more zones that you shoot down, or herd manage, however you want to put it, again, when you herd manage a zone, that's just filling it with level 2s, and level 1s and females only. I just drowned myself so casually in the background. The more zones you shoot down like that, the more diamonds that are going to spawn in your main zones. And the reason for this is because the more small level animals that are on your map, which you're consistently adding more over and over and over and over and over again, the more the game isn't going to know what to do with itself. It's going to sense there's so many small animals on your map, well they need to have something to keep the player hooked, so it's going to spawn a max level animal. Or at least a big animal. A level 4 at least. Max weight moose. Could be a big 3 too. And there's not going to be any results to spawn that big moose because every other zone on your map has nothing but tiny animals in it. So therefore, it will spawn into the only zones that are getting males flushed out of it super consistently, which ties back to those 8 main zones. That's why we call it herd management. We're managing our herds. You can herd manage until you get a diamond every 2 rotations, several diamonds per rotation, or a diamond every 100 kills like my bear grind. My bear grind has only about 50% of the exteriors shot down, and it's my favorite Great One grind. It's the perfect balance. I get thrilled every single time I spawn a 9 legendary. I had 4 extremely short grinds right off the bat, one as low as 10 kills. I think my highest out of my first 4 was 1300, and here I am over 20,000 into a grind. That just shows you, it's completely random the amount of kills it's going to take. So that, my friends, is pretty much moose management. And the moose grind in a whole, at least as simple as I could possibly get it, simple guide for you guys. If this video helped you guys out, let me know down below in the comment section by dropping a W. And if you guys want to help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, as a 16-year-old content creator, I'm setting standards high, and I know we can do it. Right now, we're getting about 4,500 subscribers per month on average. And if you guys want to help me in my journey as a content creator, and help me turn this into a career, your support would be very much appreciated. Something as simple as hitting the subscribe button literally takes 3 seconds and it's free, and smashing that like button will help out more than you could ever imagine. Hey guys, I do thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a nice little hunt out here on a ski ridge, shot a few moose. I do have a Great One moose grind set up over in Medved that I have one Great One from. I might go back to it someday, but I was lucky enough to spawn the exact combo that I wanted, and I just kinda casually moved on to pheasants. the easiest grind in the game. This was like 6 months ago, man. Work with me. But hey, as always, my name is Squid. You guys are watching Squidster Gaming. Without further ado, we'll see you guys in the next banger. Peace out, my gamers.